Welcome to the Gloria Show, where personal growth takes center stage. Founder and CEO of Personal Dynamics, Gloria Sloan, shares practical strategies to enrich your life, elevate your mindset, and empower your journey. As she reminds us, ultra-successful people never stop learning, reaching, and growing. Get ready for fresh insights and uplifting inspiration. Here's your host, Gloria Sloan.
Hello, and welcome to the Gloria Show. I am your host, Gloria Sloan, and I'm so grateful that you chose to spend this time with me today. Let me begin with a question. Have you ever looked at your life and thought, I have been doing the work, I have been showing up, I have been trying to make better choices, so why does it seem as if nothing is changing? Maybe you started therapy, coaching, journaling, or a new personal development practice. Perhaps you have been working on your health, rebuilding your confidence, strengthening your relationships, or trying to move your career or business forward. Maybe you expected that all this effort would create a clear result. You thought you would feel completely different by now. You imagined that other people would notice. You hoped there would be a moment when everything finally made sense. But instead, you may still feel uncertain. You may still have hard days. The goal may look farther away. That can make you question yourself. Am I really growing? Is any of this working? Why am I not further along? Well, today, I want to help you answer those questions in a new way because some of the most important progress that you will ever make is invisible at first. It happens in the pause before you respond. It happens, it just appears in the boundary you keep. It is present when you recover from disappointment in 2 days instead of 2 months. And it shows up when you hear the old critical voice in your mind, but no longer allow it to make every decision. Invisible progress is the internal change that develops before the external results become obvious. It is not imaginary. It is not wishful thinking. It is evidence that your habits, beliefs, responses, standards, and relationships with yourself are changing. By the end of our time together today, I want you to know how to identify that evidence. We're going to talk about why progress can be difficult to see. The signs that growth is already happening, and a simple practice you can use every week to recognize how far you have actually come is really true. Most importantly, please stop dismissing the parts of your journey that do not look impressive from the outside. Your life is not only changing when you reach the goal, your life is changing every time you become more capable of meeting that goal without losing yourself in the process. So, take a breath, set down the pressure to prove something for the next few minutes. Let us look honestly at the progress you may have overlooked. Why real progress can be hard to see. It really can be. But one reason invisible progress is so difficult to recognize is that most of us were taught to measure only visible outcomes. We celebrate the degree, the promotion, the finished book, the weight loss, the new relationship. the successful launch, or even the money in the bank. Those outcomes do matter, and they can represent years of focus, sacrifice, and courage. There is nothing wrong with wanting a result that you can name and celebrate. The problem begins when visible outcomes become the only proof we accept. If the scale has not moved, we assume our health choices do not matter. If the business has not reached its revenue goal, we overlook the systems we built, the skills strengthened, and the confidence we gained. If a relationship has not arrived, we dismiss the fact that we no longer entertain people who consistently disrespect us. If we are still anxious, we decide that emotional regulation is not working, even though we know that the anxiety earlier, we know we care for ourselves through it all. We keep looking at the destination and miss the person who is developing all along. Another reason the progress is so hard to see is that we live inside our own change. When growth happens gradually, you adjust to it. What once required enormous effort begins to feel normal. You forget how difficult the old behavior used to be because the new response has become part of who you are. Think about learning to drive. This is just a good example I thought about. First, every moment requires your attention. You think about the mirrors, the speed, you're always adjusting things, looking at the road, the pedals, and the other cars. You're focused on it. Eventually, many of those actions become automatic. When you get in the car, you just do what you need to do and keep going. You do not celebrate every time you check your mirror because the skill has become integrated. Personal growth can work the same way. At one time, saying no may have kept you awake all night. Oh, yeah. Now you can say, that does not work for me. You can feel uncomfortable for 20 minutes and continue with your day. That, my friend, is progress. At one time, one critical comment may have convinced you to abandon an idea. Today, the comment may still sting when it comes up, but you evaluate whether it is useful and keep moving. That is progress. At one time, conflict may have led you to shut down, lash out, or chase reassurance. Now, you can pause. Name what you feel and return to the conversation when you are ready. That is progress. Growth does not always remove discomfort. Often it changes what you do with discomfort. Please hear that again. Growth does not always remove discomfort. Often it changes what you do with the discomfort. You may still feel afraid and make the call. You may still feel disappointed and choose not to attack yourself. You may still feel nervous and tell the truth. You may still grieve what ended and refuse to return to what harmed you. The emotion is not evidence that you failed. Your response can be evidence that you have grown. There is another challenge. Sometimes we compare our private process to somebody else's public outcome. We see their announcement without seeing the years that came before it. We see the finished product without seeing the doubt, the revisions, the rejection, the practice, and support behind it. Then we judge our middle against their milestone. Comparison distorts our ability to notice progress because it moves the standard every time someone else succeeds. Now, you can make a meaningful improvement on Monday and feel proud of it by Tuesday. You feel someone online who appears further ahead, and suddenly your improvement no longer seems important. The progress did not disappear, your attention moved. That is why your measurement must be rooted in your own values, your own starting point, and your own definition of growth. Ask yourself, what was difficult for me 6 months ago that is easier today? What do I understand now that I did not understand then? And what am I no longer willing to tolerate? Where am I responding with more wisdom, patience, and honesty? These questions bring the focus back to your actual life. Sometimes progress feels invisible because the breakthrough hasn't caught up with the preparation. You are learning the skill before the opportunity arrives. You are building the capacity before the responsibility increases. You are strengthening your boundaries before the healthier relationship begins. You are creating the structure before the business grows. Preparation can look uneventful when you do not know yet what is happening and what is preparing you to hold on. You may call it delay. Later, you may recognize it as development. This does not mean every delay is meaningful or that waiting alone creates change. Progress requires honest action. Sometimes you need a new strategy, clearer support, or a different direction. We should never use the idea of invisible progress to avoid reality. Instead, we use it to evaluate reality more completely. We ask two questions at the same time. First, what result is not happening yet, and what adjustment might be necessary? And second, what growth is already happening, and how can I build on it? Now, both these questions matter. One keeps you accountable, and the other one keeps you from becoming discouraged. When we return from the break, we're going to take a break, and when we come back, I'm going to share specific signs that you are making progress, even though you think it's invisible. Even if your life does not look dramatically different, it is. You're growing. Your growth is present. So I want you to stay with me. We're going to take a quick commercial break, and when we come back, we're going to review the progress that you are making. Stay with me.
Are you growing in the direction of your aspirations? Did you know your life's journey is shaped by the choices you make today? Now is the time to invest in yourself to grow, elevate, and upgrade your life. In Life Skills for the Journey, Gloria Sloan offers a transformational guide to unlocking your full potential. Blending practical tools, inspirational wisdom, and proven life skills, this book empowers you to take control of your future with confidence and clarity. From decision-making to self-discovery, from vision to action, this book is your blueprint for personal growth. And now, you can go deeper with the Life Skills for the Journey Companion Workbook, a powerful tool filled with practical exercises, reflective prompts, and engaging challenges designed to help you apply these principles to your own life. Your personal development is your life. It's your evolution. Take the next steps in becoming the best version of yourself. Your journey starts now. With Life Skills for the Journey and its companion workbook, it's time to invest in yourself and lead the life you were meant to live. Available now on Amazon.
Welcome back to the Gloria Show. Today, we are talking about invisible progress and how to recognize growth before the final outcome arrives. If you've been working on yourself but wondering whether anything is changing, this next section is for you. There are 8 signs of invisible progress. I'm going to walk you through 8 signs that your personal development work is creating real change. As you listen, do not ask whether you have mastered each one. Growth is not mastery. Ask yourself whether you have seen even a small shift. Here's sign 1. You noticed your patterns earlier. The first sign is awareness. Yeah, we've talked about awareness before. You begin to recognize a pattern while it is happening instead of weeks after the damage is done. Maybe you notice that you become defensive when you feel misunderstood, or maybe you recognize that you overcommit when you're afraid of disappointing people. You may catch yourself procrastinating because the task feels connected to judgment or perfection. That happens. And at first, awareness can feel discouraging. You may think, I know better, so why am I doing this? But seeing the pattern is not proof that you are failing. It is the first point at which you can make a different choice. You cannot change what you can refuse to notice. What you refuse to notice, you just can't change it. If you are noticing sooner, you are progressing. Sign 2, there is more space between the feeling and the reaction. The second sign is the pause. Something happens. You feel hurt, anxiety, afraid, or embarrassed. The old reaction presents itself, but now there is a little space. It may be only a few seconds. In that space, you breathe. You ask a question. You decide not to send the message immediately. You step away before saying something you do not mean. The pause is one of the clearest signs of emotional regulation. It does not mean you never react. It means reaction is no longer your only option. The pause is where choice becomes possible. Let's look at sign 3. You recover more quickly. The third sign is a shorter recovery time. Hard things still affect you. Disappointment may still hurt. A mistake may still be frustrating to you. And a difficult conversation may still leave you unsettled. The difference is that you no longer remain emotionally trapped for as long as you used to. The return to your routine starts sooner, and you ask for support instead of isolating yourself. You get help. You let yourself feel the emotion without making it a permanent address. Please do not minimize faster recovery simply because the pain still appears. Resilience is not the absence of difficulty. It is the growing ability to find your way back to yourself. Let's look at sign 4. Your boundaries are becoming clearer. Now, the 4th sign is that your yes and your no carry more meaning. You stop agreeing automatically. You give yourself time to consider a request. You recognize that kindness does not require unlimited access to your energy. And you communicate what you need with less explanation. You may even feel guilty about this. Yeah, I can see why, especially if other people benefited from your lack of boundaries. That guilt does not automatically mean the boundary is wrong. Sometimes guilt is simply the feeling that appears when you stop performing an old role. Now, if your choices are becoming more aligned with your capacity and values, you, my friend, are making progress. Let's look at sign 5. You are making different decisions even when nobody applauds. Yeah. The 5th sign is private integrity. You choose what supports your well-being even when nobody sees it. You choose the computer and rest. You close the computer and rest. You close it. You keep the appointment with yourself. You save the money instead of making the impulsive purchase. You complete the small tasks that supports a long-term goal. And you walk away from the conversation that is becoming disrespectful. These are all in sign 5. And then you make the decision because it matches the person you are becoming, not because it will earn immediate praise. That is a powerful form of progress because it means your values are beginning to guide you more consistently than outside approval. And you'll notice that. Now let's look at sign 6. You speak to yourself differently. Now, this sign is a sign of change in your inner language. You're talking to yourself. You may still feel like you make a mistake, but instead of saying, oh, I ruined everything, or you say, I need to understand what happened and why did I decide to do that and what do I do next? You may feel behind, but instead of calling yourself lazy or incapable, you ask whether you are overwhelmed and why did you do that? Undersupported. It was unclear. I was afraid. Self-compassion is not permission to avoid responsibility. It creates the emotional safety required to take responsibility without destroying your sense of worth. When your inner voice becomes more truthful and less cruel, your progress is real. And you have to know when that happens to yourself, because it does. Think about it. Let's look at sign 7. You ask for help earlier. Now, the 7th sign is your willingness to seek support. And this is critically important. Many of us were taught to see independence as strength. And we waited until we were exhausted before telling anyone that we were struggling. Growth may look like asking a question sooner. It may mean calling a trusted friend, hiring a coach, speaking with a therapist, consulting a mentor, or delegating a task you do not need to carry alone. Asking for help, my friend, does not diminish your progress. It often shows you have stopped making suffering for strength, or mistaking suffering for strength. You're mistaking it, and that's not strength. So when you learn to ask for help, you're progressing because you're not doing what the old you used to do. Now, sign 8 says you no longer fit some of your old patterns. And if you've been following me, you can see how this all unfolds. The 8th sign can be very uncomfortable because it involves identity. You may notice that certain conversations, environments, habits, or relationships no longer feel right. Hey, remove yourself. You don't want to even be around that stuff. You have not become better than other people. You have become more aware of what supports the life you are trying to build. Grief can come up in this stage because you're worried about what people think. You may miss who you were, even when the version of you was struggling. You may feel lonely while you create new connections. You may question yourself because familiar choices once gave you a sense of belonging, and breaking through from an old pattern may feel like liberation at first. It may feel like standing in the unknown, learning who you are without realizing what once held you back. You're stepping up, stepping out. You're feeling better. You're removing yourself from those things that were actually holding you back. But yet, now that you've moved forward, you're recognizing the new you. Still, the discomfort can be evidence that your standards, needs, and self-understanding are changing. Let us make these signs practical with 3 examples of progress. And I want to share these with you. We just went through all 8, but let me give you some examples of progress that maybe you can relate to and that are easy to overlook. Let's look at a person who is rebuilding confidence after a difficult professional experience. She has not received the promotion yet. She has not launched the new business. From the outside, her career may look the same, but she updated her resume after avoiding it for 6 months. She asked a trusted friend to help her identify her strengths. She contributed an idea in a meeting without apologizing before she spoke. When the idea was not selected, she felt disappointed, but she did not decide that the rejection meant she had nothing valuable to offer. The invisible outcome has not arrived. Her relationship with her own ability is changing. And that matters because the next opportunity comes and then she'll be ready when it does. She will meet it with more preparation, stronger language, and a greater willingness to be seen. Now, the second person we'll talk about is working on a healthier relationship. He still feels anxious, very anxious, when someone is unhappy with him. Yeah. He still wants to explain himself until the other person approves. He may wonder whether all his personal development work has made a difference. And then a family member makes an unreasonable request. He does not answer immediately. He checks his schedule, notices the pressure in his body, says, I cannot do that this week, but I can help you or think about another option to help you with it. And he feels guilty afterward because he does not reverse the boundary simply to make the guilt disappear. Someone asks you to do something and you say no, and you feel guilty. The guilt is still present. The behavior is different because he did offer to do something else in another option. And then there's the third person who's trying to improve her health and well-being, which can sometimes be a struggle. The external number she has been watching has not changed very much. And she is tempted to declare the entire effort a failure. Yeah, she's trying. It's not happening. Yet, she is sleeping more consistently. She now eats before becoming so hungry that every choice was just an urgent choice. And she has learned that exhaustion makes her more emotionally reactive. And after missing 2 days of movement, she resumes on the third day instead of waiting a month to begin again. Instead of starting all over again, she recognizes it. Her progress is not perfect. It is becoming sustainable. And I hope you're following me, because there is a track. When you just don't think you're progressing and you're looking at things and you're too busy looking at it from an emotional standpoint. But her progress it wasn't perfect, but she's sustaining it because it's mindfulness now. These examples matter because visible goals often are delayed indicators. They can take time to reflect on the choices, the skills, and capacity developing underneath them. This is when we really need more than one measurement. Yes, measurement. You got to measure the results. Also, I want to tell you that measuring the behavior can eventually support and sustain the results. You have to measure it. Ask not only, did I arrive? Ask, am I becoming more capable of arriving and remaining there? The second question helps you see the foundation beneath the milestone. You want to stay where you have arrived. Now, I want you to take a moment and think about the 8 signs we talked about. Which one of the signs most like fit your life right now? Which one fits you? Are you noticing sooner? Are you pausing longer? Are you recovering faster? Are you holding a boundary? Making a different private decision? Maybe that's you. And maybe you're speaking to yourself with more care. And then again, maybe you're asking for support. Think about it. You're outgrowing an old pattern. Things that you used to do, you just don't do anymore. The crowd that you used to hang out with, whatever it is, you are noticing an old pattern doesn't exist. Choose one. Out of all the ones I just mentioned, choose one. Do not rush past it. Name it clearly. This is evidence that I am changing. Whatever it is above that I mentioned, if you can pick one of those and say, that's it, that's me. We often wait for someone else to confirm our growth. Yeah. People are saying, you didn't notice how much weight I lost. So you didn't notice I made this change. You didn't, and you're waiting for someone else to clarify that for you. Today, I want you to practice recognizing it for yourself. And after the next break, we're going to talk about how to document invisible progress without exaggerating it, how to tell the difference between patience and avoidance, and how to keep going when the outcome still matters. It's going to be good. Stay with me. We'll be back in a few minutes.
Do you ever feel stuck? Like you know you are capable of more, but you are not quite sure how to move forward? Gloria Sloan's life coaching program is designed to help individuals break through limiting beliefs, build self-confidence, and gain clarity both in their personal and professional development. Through personalized coaching, Gloria works one-on-one with clients to create clear plans, strengthen mindsets, and reconnect them with their purpose. Gloria's life coaching program is virtual, flexible, and results-driven, with a supportive structure designed to keep you focused, accountable, and moving forward with confidence and momentum. Clients gain clarity, confidence, and the tools needed to unlock their full potential from the inside out. Gloria's belief that ultra-successful people are always learning and seeking new ways to find fulfillment and elevate personal development is what drives her fierce dedication to her clients. Are you ready for your next chapter to begin? All it takes is one powerful decision. Make that decision now and visit www.gloriasloan.com and book your consultation call today. Gloria's ready when you are. It's time to begin your journey.
Welcome back. This is the Gloria Show, and our topic today is how to recognize invisible progress. We have talked about why growth can be hard to see, and the quiet signs that change is already taking place. Now, let us turn to what awareness into a practice you can use. The progress evidence. I love it. I want to share a simple weekly exercise called the progress evidence practice. The word evidence matters because vague encouragement is not always enough. When you are discouraged, you need something specific to return to. You need examples that show what has changed and what still needs attention and what your next step should be. Before I give you the 5 prompts, let us slow down for a brief reflection. If you are in a place where it is safe to do so, place your feet on the floor and take one steady breath. Think of an area in your life where you have been telling yourself, I should be farther along. Do not choose every area of your life, just choose one. It may be farther along with confidence, your health, work, business, finances, healing, or a relationship. Now, I want you to complete this sentence silently or write it down. I have been measuring my progress only by. Maybe your answer is a number. Maybe it is another person's response. Or maybe it is the deadline you expected to meet. Perhaps you have been measuring your worth by never struggling with an old emotion again. Next, I want you to ask yourself, what has changed in the way I think, the way I choose, the way I respond, the way I recover or care for myself? Now give yourself time to answer. Do not reject a change because it seems small. If you speak up one time where you used to remain silent, that matters. If you shorten the period of self-criticism by only 1 hour. That matters. If you recognize that you need rest before your body forces you to stop, that matters. If you begin again without turning one missed day into a month of avoidance, that matters. Now finish one more sentence. The version of me from 1 year ago should be proud that what belongs at the end of that sentence? Maybe you left something harmful. Maybe you stayed and had an honest conversation. Maybe you asked for support. Maybe you stopped making yourself smaller. Perhaps you survived a season you did not think you could handle, and you learned how to care for yourself more intentionally while doing it. Take one more breath and let the answer count. This is not about pretending you have arrived. It is about refusing to erase the evidence you have already traveled. Set aside 10 minutes at the end of each week. Take out a journal. Open a note on your phone or create a document you can continue adding to. Then complete 5 prompts. Prompt 1. What did I notice earlier this week? Write down a pattern, emotion, a need, a trigger, or opportunity you recognize sooner than you might have in the past. For example, I noticed that I was becoming overwhelmed before I agreed to another commitment. I recognized that I wanted to avoid the task before I was afraid it would not be perfect. I realized I was hungry, tired, and overstimulated before I assumed everybody else was the problem. Awareness is evidence. Prompt 2. Write it down. Where did I choose differently? Identify one moment when you interrupted an old pattern. You stopped. Even if the new choice was imperfect, maybe you paused before responding. You caught your tongue. Maybe you asked for clarification instead of assuming the worst. And maybe you rested before you became depleted. You stopped to rest. You might have told the truth, made the appointment, kept a promise to yourself, or decided not to return to a harmful situation. A different choice is evidence. Prompt 3. What became easier, faster, or clearer? Progress often appears as increased capacity. Sometimes something takes less time. A decision requires less internal debate. You understand your needs more clearly, or you recover faster. You complete a task with less fear. The change or the challenge may not be gone, but your ability to meet it has improved. Greater capacity to do all this is evidence. Now, prompt 4, what still needs my attention? Now, this prompt keeps the practice honest. Recognizing progress does not mean pretending everything is fine. Ask yourself where you repeated an old pattern, avoided a necessary conversation, ignored your limits, or failed to follow through. Do not use the answer as an accusation. Use it as information. Say, this is the area that needs support. It needs structure or a new direction or new decision. Honesty is evidence of growth too. Be honest with yourself. And now prompt 5, what is my next small aligned step? You finish this by choosing one action that is specific enough to complete, not fix my life and not be more disciplined. Choose something clear and send the email. Block 30 minutes on the calendar. Ask for help. Something specific. Prepare one healthy meal. Yeah. Write one page. Surprise yourself. Practice the boundary sentence before the conversation. Turn off the phone at a certain time. One aligned step gives your progress somewhere to go. When you complete this practice each week, you create a record of your development, something you can measure. And after several months, you will be able to look back and see patterns you would otherwise forget. You may discover that you are calmer in situations that once overwhelmed you and got you all rattled. You may realize that your standards have changed. Yeah, I'm above doing that. I don't have to do that anymore. And you may see that your confidence did not arrive as one powerful feeling. It developed through dozens of small decisions that you just kept making. This practice also helps you avoid a common mistake, moving the goal line. Yeah, that happens. But when you have this practice, something changes. Sometimes we ask for something, work toward it, achieve it, and immediately decide it was not enough. We do not pause to acknowledge the courage or the effort that was involved. We created a new requirement. Ambition can support growth, but constant dissatisfaction can make every achievement feel empty. You are allowed to want more, yes, and honor what is already changing. Those two truths can exist together. Patience or avoidance? Now, before we close, I want you to address an important question. How do you know whether you are patiently allowing progress to develop or using the idea of invisible progress to avoid taking necessary action? Ask yourself 4 honest questions. First, am I consistently taking action? Or am I thinking about change? Invisible progress still produces choices. It may not produce the final results immediately, but it should start affecting what you do. And second, am I receiving new information and adjusting to it? Growth requires feedback. It is the same approach that keeps producing the same harmful outcome. Patience alone may not be the answer. You may need a different strategy, new support, stronger skills, or a more realistic goal. Third, is fear choosing my pace? Moving slowly can be wise. Refusing to move because you want complete certainty is different. Ask yourself whether your pace protects your well-being or protects you from being seen, challenged, or disappointed. And fourth, is my current path aligned with my values? Oh, we have to look at those values. Progress towards the wrong life is not the goal. You can become very efficient at meeting expectations that no longer belong to you. Sometimes the most meaningful progress is admitting that the destination needs to change. These questions are not meant to make you doubt yourself. They help you pair encouragement with responsibility. You deserve both. You deserve to acknowledge every meaningful change you have made. You also deserve the honesty required to keep growing. So as we close today, I want you to remember this. You do not have to wait for a dramatic breakthrough to recognize that your life is changing. The evidence may be in your response, your recovery, your boundaries, your standards, your self-talk, or your willingness to ask for help. It may be in what you no longer chase. It may be in what you can now tolerate without abandoning yourself. It may be in the choices you make when nobody is watching. Visible results matter, they do, but they are often the final expression of work that began quietly. Before the opportunity, there was preparation. Before the stronger relationship, there was a boundary. And before a confident decision, there were many moments of uncertainty in which you chose to trust yourself anyway. Before the breakthrough, there was progress that no one could see. Do not confuse quiet with non-existence. Do not confuse unfinished with unsuccessful, and do not confuse discomfort with the absence of growth. This week, use progress, evidence, practice. Ask what you noticed earlier, where you chose differently, what became easier, what still needs attention, and what aligned step comes next. And then give yourself credit for the truth. You are not celebrating perfection. You are recognizing participation in your own development. I want you to do something for me. If today's conversation helped you see your journey differently, please share it with someone who has been questioning their own progress. Sometimes people do not need to be pushed harder. They need help recognizing that their effort is already creating change. You can learn more about my work and find additional personal development resources at www.gloriasloan.com. Thank you for joining me today. I want you to keep learning, keep choosing with intention, and keep honoring the progress that is shaping you before the rest of the world can see it. I am Gloria Sloan, and this is the Gloria Show. Until next time, take good care of yourself and keep moving forward with clarity, confidence, and purpose. Goodbye for now.
You've been listening to The Gloria Show. Be sure to check out www.gloriasloan.com for more tools, strategies, and inspiration. And don't forget to connect with Gloria on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram. Until next time, stay inspired, stay motivated, and keep moving toward your best self.